the ComicsGate cancel mob rolls right along, and that's exactly all this is at this point. It's just angry, outraged, and cowardly people in ComicsGate trying to attack anybody who's kind of noticed over the years that all they do is just attack independent creators over and over and over and over again, and then they diminish their comic book audience in the process. There's nothing to it except for that. The big guys really aren't even drawing comics anymore. Ethan Van Sciver, when was the last time he actually drew a comic book that he put out? Who knows? And that's all it is. It's the Ethan Van Sciver fan club now of his blood sports drama streams of attacking creators and making sure that nobody's allowed to sell independent comic books outside of his little sphere. Now, it's not working because he's not even able to sell comic books inside his sphere. And this is what we've been covering for a while. The Pit Omnibus, which now is the Pit Volume 1 trade paperback because it's not an omnibus, is really struggling and dying on the vine. Now, this is a big property, Dale Keown, and is a huge name creator. If he would have not been aligned with ComicsGate and actually went through with an omnibus and put it out on Kickstarter a few years ago, or maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he probably would be at $200,000 or $300,000 with $200,000 or $300,000 in funds for this. But he chose to go with some sort of rah-rah ComicsGate thing under the purview of the embattled Mandy Summers, who has just been crashing out incredibly since this campaign started, and it's failing pretty badly. This is, again, 622 backers for Dale Keown's Pit. That is not heard of. This is not something that like I said, this should be something where it should be a lot more than that. You'd expect 4,000 or 5,000 backers over a course of something like this. But let's get into what's happening and why they're just so mad at this channel too. Because I just report on what I'm seeing here, but they're super, super mad. Because, what's happening is obviously everything's failing and flailing. And with that, the bottom's falling out. We covered the other day, and I'm going to show you again that really hasn't moved the needle much there either. If you're not one of these big name creators, you're not getting 600 backers. You're not even going to get 50 backers because there's no comic book readers in ComicsGate. They don't care about comics, and it's unfortunate because that's what the movement was supposed to be. If you didn't know what ComicsGate was back in the day, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. What it was intended to be was meant to be a revolt against the bad behaviors of the mainstream industry. Mainstream creators within Marvel and DC Comics cancel people over politics. They have petty feuds all the time, and all they do is just try to secure their own little piece of clout within the industry while making sure nobody else can get in. It's a big gatekeeping nonsense market. And that's exactly what ComicsGate became, because what happened was, as these fans were together, and a lot of people who were reading comics and into it, and were a part of this, from the guys at Iconic Comics to even Rippaverse to myself and Archaven and others, we were all here and we're all into comics. And then these mainstream pros from Marvel and DC came in and co-opted the movement, pretended like they were involved on the culture war, gave up on the culture war, in fact, attacked everybody on the right wing to gatekeep them out, just like the mainstream industry did. So since that all failed, we need a new movement that's really about comics again, and that's what I'm trying to do, both in my Discord community, which you should join and hang out if you're into comics, and on my Substack right here. So I'm actually posting comics every day for free. I want you to read comics because webcomic community is way healthier than this kind of thing, and I always say this. There's thousands and millions of readers on Webtoons, Tapas, etc. And what they do is they come in and they support their creator. You create. They then come in and say, you know what, I want to support this creator. I'll throw in $5 a month as a paid subscription or whatever, like a Patreon. Usually they're on Patreon. But I like Substack because it's a free speech community. And I'm on Subscribestar also. That's my other spot, free speech community. And we're just growing these nice and steady as I just keep producing comics and keep producing comics. Now, I'm putting these up for you. You can sign up on the Substack for free, and I urge you to, so you can keep reading every day. But there are also exclusive comics here. We have more than anybody else out there in terms of what's being produced. Astromancer and Extrasensory are the 2 books that are going right now. And there's going to be more in the future. And the more that we get on here, the more that we'll be able to do. That's the beauty of all this. And we'll be able to make this beautiful, beautiful movement about reading and comics again. So grab this. It's in the description below on the Substack. I have a physical web store. If you want some physical books, go grab those too. Lots of reading for you. Appreciate you being here. So this is really interesting on Edwin. It's not working on ComicsGate Queens, the live stream on Anna That Star Wars Girl, Yanzi, and Mandy Summer. they only generated 1 backer. That's painful. That means nobody watching those live streams is interested in comic books whatsoever. And this is on one of the person's streams, Mandy Summers, who's actually the one, selling the book. Pretty crazy. It had 622 backers before, suggests there's not a substantial additional organic demand in the ComicsGate audience. And they don't have anybody outside that audience. They've turned everybody off just by their vicious behavior and their just hatred of conservatives and Christians, of course, who they've gone way out of their way to cancel over the years. Very sad stuff. Van Sciver and peers likely will have to create or fabricate some narrative, assigning urgent social imperative. And that's what they'll do next. You got to own Edwin. To back the book to own Edwin. They've done that before. But why do they care about owning Edwin? Like, I mean, he's not he's not that interesting. Sorry, Edwin. But it's really not somebody who's worth owning, right? I get it when you're conflict marketing and being like Marvel and DC, we got to be different than Marvel and DC. Let's create a better alternative of stories in Marvel and DC. That makes sense. Own Edwin doesn't make sense, and that's why this is failing to launch, right? When you conflict market, and I don't think there's a problem with conflict marketing necessarily, especially when somebody attacks you and stuff. It's like, point it out and monetize the haters. But when you're conflict marketing and you are attacking people and you're clearly the aggressor and it's clearly a punching down situation, it's like it looks ugly and it does not inspire people. So you gotta conflict market right is what it comes down to. And I don't think they're going to learn how to do that. They're going to keep going over and over on this, and it's not going to work very well. Now I mentioned, they had this Rattel on Ethan Van Sciver's program, on Katie Didd's program. They pushed it hard. And again, it's only gotten to 28 backers. I think it was at 27 or 26 the other day when I made my video, which they're very, very mad about. But even their screaming and being mad about it is not helping the book very much. Now, again, I don't know this guy, and I'm not making any commentary on the quality of his book or anything like that. Just that ComicsGate does not have a natural audience, and him being on Fund My Comic here with trying to go to comics, there's not anybody who's actually seeing the book, who's actually just a regular comic reader. Should have probably been on Kickstarter or something like that, right? Now, I love Fund My Comic, don't get me wrong. I'm running on Fund My Comic for my next campaign because I'm banned from Kickstarter, but I'm assuming this guy isn't because I don't know who he is. And so you might want to go somewhere where you can just get organic backers who just look at comics regularly. Now, Don Draw's stuff went crazy about this because I made a video about this the other day. And you can see just how crazy they go. And by the way, they're abject cowards. This is so funny because he's had I don't interact with this guy or know him really, but he's got me blocked, and yet at the same time he's tagging me. Like, I mean, how ridiculous does this have to be ComicsGate? This is how hard they go crazy. This a-hole spits all the untrue venom and vitriol, and in his video, his main complaint is how Ethan Van Sciver and CG mainly does not promote comics anymore and how sales are down. I actually didn't say that. They are promoting. They're just not promoting to anybody who cares about comics, and they're making their whole deal around blood sports about attacking comic creators, and so that doesn't inspire a lot of people to actually check out comics. That's exactly why I'm just posting stuff up for free, Don, because I'm letting people just read and enjoy themselves. It's building. I've got over 1,000 people signing up as you're complaining here. He claims Pitt is failing with over 81K in sales, just entering into its third week. Yes, it's definitely failing. This, again, should be a thing with well over 1,000 backers by this point. Yet here's a dude with over 9K subs that does nothing to support anyone save himself. Now, this is pretty funny because obviously I have a lot of people on when I do end up streaming and the like. But I also run the Fandom Pulse Substack, and we do promote people all the time. And so I probably have promoted more people in the independent comic sphere over the course of things than anybody else out there, which is ridiculous. But oh well. Not that I have to, but I do anyway, just because I like people and I like comics, right? Ethan promotes, okay? Katie Didd promotes. This person promotes. The Bancroft, who I don't believe is ComicsGate anymore, promotes. Shane Davis promotes. Wart the Wizard promotes. Now this gets interesting. So Katie Didd. Okay. Oh, blocked. Okay. Who's this? Don't know who this is. Elliot Rodriguez. Doesn't have me blocked. Okay, good. Thank you, Elliot Rodriguez. I know Bancroft doesn't have me blocked because he's not ComicsGate. Shane Davis. Oh, blocked. Oh, geez. Wart the Wizard. Oh, blocked. You see how lame these people are? They're so in their own echo chambers. They hide from everybody. They're so scared of interacting with everybody. Good on. Oh wow. I'll give this guy a follow because I like comics. Look at this. He's not got me blocked. And so, yeah, look at this. Pretty cool. And he's drawing. Looks good. There we go. I helped his algorithm along to help him promote. Good stuff. Oh, John's long box. Blocked. Okay. Oh, geez. Who else do we got? Von Coleman's cool. Zaid Comics. Does this guy got me blocked too? I don't know. I'm counting the blocks here. This guy doesn't have me blocked. To his Coney Waves good guy again follows me. I know exactly who's who. John Malin. Oh, blocked. Yeah. Oh, geez. These guys are so scared all the way down the line. And it's because they know that they're in the wrong, and they know that they are a cancel mob at this point. And by the way, this is a giant cancel post, by the way. So he starts screaming about promotion, etc. And then hundreds of others I've yet to discover. I'm sure it's not all CG. If hundreds of others are promoting, then they're not very effective at this, unfortunately. This guy needs to find a better spot. This is just off the top of my head. If you see a problem, MF. Why are these people going crazy? Don't just be about it. Fix it or shut the F up. I am. I'm actually building a Substack with some great comics done. I hope you'll check it out and subscribe. Appreciate you being here. Yes, that's the way we get people reading. Better yet, shut the F up anyway. You see how angry these people are? These are allegedly adults who talk like this. Why do they do this? And look at how long of a rant this is. And he tagged all these people to try to get them in on it. Like, it's like, okay, desperate much. If I was a slimeball, I'd report his BS channel on YouTube. So he not only does that, but he is encouraging some of these people to report my channel for what? For talking about comic books? Crazy. But this is where it gets even crazier. Disavow. Look at this leftist coded cancel language, right? So this is what they do. Disavow Trump, right? And all those like him, lying, self-aggrandizing sacks of shit. This is how people rant about Trump on Blue Sky, right? Have you noticed that? It's the same language exactly. This is crazy, and this is wild that you tag this many people in a call to cancel me. Well, you've already got the ones. There's the shills who are on Ethan's deal. They've all got me blocked anyway. But the people who are not going to cancel me, that you're barking up the wrong tree, bro. By the way, Bancroft not going to cancel me. Of course, Von Coleman not going to cancel me. Coney Waves not going to cancel me. Dark Gift not going to cancel me. Joe Sontag not going to cancel me. These are, Billy Tucci not going to cancel me. Luke Stone especially not going to cancel me. I do a lot for Fun by Comic promoting over there. That's ridiculous. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. But to his credit, he did link my YouTube channel. So thank you for alerting people to my video and sending people here to watch. That's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. So I am behind a block. It's really funny. Commandos mentioned. I don't even know what commandos are. Is that those are people that don't wear underwear, right? The reality here is that all the clowns who talk CG are the ones who never grow an audience and are eventually forgotten to history. Pretty funny. Entertaining that this is the case here because obviously our channel's growing very well here. My Substack's going crazy. And I've got a huge Discord. Hello, shout out to the Discord, Holy Legion. What he means is that EVS doesn't promote him. I didn't ask for EVS to promote me. Never have. Because I don't want to be beholden to that and never have. I've always been about creating my own audience. And that's always what I urge people to do is to create your own audience because this doesn't work. It's obvious. If you can't get Pitt going, if you can't get Dale Keown going because like people are so burnt out on this stuff, you're not going to be able to get a random comic from a random guy for his first comic trying to get things going. That's just like, it's pretty obvious. And they're not working. It's objectively not working. So you have to try something else. That's why I always innovate, right? Substack is like not something that a lot of these people even consider. They're all so embroiled in their little like live stream drama stuff. I don't even live stream, but I sell books. And the reason is because I build the Substack, I build the Discord, I build my regular newsletter, I build a group of people who are actually readers. And that's what actually works. And you have to do that by talking about things that, of course, get you clicks. I always would love to talk about more things other than this. I'll complain a little bit, but here's the thing. Like these guys are like, well, you always talk about ComicsGate. What's the deal? So you go to JDA Talks Comics here, and you look at this, and it's interesting because I do promote indie comics, which is interesting. If you look at this, I did this 2 days ago, 3,000 views just on this and it's really just this topic right here, but everybody in ComicsGate clicked on it. But look at this. Look at 500 views. Is starting a comic book company in 25 a good idea? Now, this is Paul Cornell starting an independent comic company where he's starting science fiction graphic novels on Amazon. Yes, I love that. I'm very interested in that. And I actually tried my hardest to clickbait it so people could actually listen and talk about comics. Is starting at a good idea? Will they make it? I tried to like make it an interesting, like, because if I just said Paul Cornell starts comic book company, I'd probably even have 200 views. That's unfortunately the way that YouTube does work. But I do my best to get these things in there, and of course talk about things. I of course promoted Super Killer, Vito's book, the other day and read that. Of course, Yellow Flash's book right here. So, like, if you look at about half my content is actually promoting independent comics. And the best part is when you go into these videos about your boy Zach and the like, I do always talk about what comics I'm reading and the like, so I can get that going as well. And I haven't had time the last few days, but I'm excited for some stuff hopefully this weekend as I can get to some reading. Interesting stuff. But clearly sad. I mean, my gosh. And how pathetic is it to, like, go and block somebody and then tag them in the post to try to, like, get their attention while you've got them blocked? I mean, you have to be an abject coward, like, to act like that, right? So sad. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Do sign up for my Substack, guys. So important. We're building the real comics movement here. Everything these guys claimed they were trying to be, we're building it, and we're building it better. This is amazing stuff, and I appreciate all the 1,000+ people who have signed up so far. You're wonderful readers. We'll be back soon.